Hello, Catalina here. Today is September 19th. I want to address some questions revolving around student loan forgiveness. What does the application look like? Who needs to apply versus who does not need to apply? Because there's a scenario for both, okay? So first, let's start with what is loan forgiveness. Loan forgiveness is when an individual with student loan debt makes a certain number of payments. If you have a nonprofit or government employer, it's 120 payments. If you're a private sector employed, it's for 20 to 25 years, which is 240 to 300 payments, okay? After you make those set amount of payments, whatever you do not pay is forgiven. That is what loan forgiveness is, okay? Now, who needs to apply for loan forgiveness versus who does not? Because it is different. So first and foremost, we hear a lot in the news about public service loan forgiveness. Public service loan forgiveness allows those who are employed by a hospital, nonprofit system, nonprofit organizations, government, essentially 501c3 and government, as well as even private sector contractors who work in healthcare systems who are employed by nonprofit hospital systems. That's another use case. Those private sector employees, though not directly employed by nonprofit hospital systems, also qualify for what is called public service loan forgiveness. For public service loan forgiveness, you have to qualify an employer over 120 payments, and your loan balance at the end of the 120 payments, if there is any remaining loan balance, your balance will be forgiven. Okay, there is an application for that process. It's called the employer certification form, and it's a form that certifies that particular employer. That is an application where you actually have to file in order to get your loans forgiven. You don't just file one application that absolves you of all your repayment obligations. It's an application for every employer that says John Doe or Jane Smith have been working here over the duration of repayment for 120 payments. You literally have to certify when you start to that employer to the end date. You've been employed there. Let's say you work for one employer for 4 years, 48 payments. You certify those 48 payments at that employer. You go to another employer, you worked, let's say, another 3 years. So you would certify another 36 payments at that employer. And there's an application for every employer to prove that they are an entity that qualifies for public service loan forgiveness. Again, it's non-consecutive. Let's say for 2 years, you go work in a private sector employee that does not get public service loan forgiveness. You can still qualify the time around those time you went to the private sector. Let's say it's 2 years, then you can qualify the time before and the time after. Another thing is you have to certify time where you're actually not in school. So there's some people go back to get their master's and they're working full-time for a nonprofit, but they're in school and they have in-school status. That does not count, and that is not time you need to certify. You can ask your servicer to be taken out of in-school status to get that time counted, and it's especially beneficial if you work for a nonprofit full-time, okay? That's a caveat. Now let's talk about instances, and I will link below this application and give you information on where you can go get this application. LoanSense will certify your employers and make sure the information is entered correctly as part of our service as well. By the way, I have to take a quick pause. If you like this content, believe somebody can use this content, you are using this content, liking it, please hit subscribe, please like, and please share. I bring to you all things student loan related, as well as other personal finance tips. So if you like that sort of stuff, please subscribe. Now let's go on to what if you don't work for a nonprofit or government organization? Do you still qualify for loan forgiveness? Well, you can potentially qualify for loan forgiveness. So the first thing, even part of the public service loan forgiveness, is you get into a plan called an income-driven plan. So it's a plan that is based on your income. I'm going to make another series of videos like, is my student loan payment based on my income? I'm going to make a video specifically about that. So watch out for that video. and it will explain what's the difference between the plan that the government first puts you on versus a plan that is based on your income. You have to actually enroll paperwork to get into a plan based on your income, okay? That plan based on your income will help you reduce your payment relative to the plan the government first put you on for a lot of people. If that is certainly the instance, then you can get loan forgiveness even if you work for the private sector, over 240 to 300 payments, depending if you're grad school, graduated from grad school, or only undergrad, as well as what the program is, right? Essentially, you make your 240 to 300 payments. Whatever is not paid off based on your income is then forgiven. There is no specific application to get forgiveness in that context. You just have to hold your servicer accountable to counting each and every payment that you have made, including these 3 years of forbearance, okay? You can get these 3 years of forbearance counted plus up to 3 years of prior non-consecutive forbearance. That means times you've been in forbearance that is not all at once. You can get up to 3 years counted under Biden's what's called the IDR waiver program. You don't need to understand what all those words mean. You just need to know that Biden rolled a program out that will allow up to 3 additional years to count, plus the 3.5 years we've been in forbearance. That gives a lot of people 6.5 years right there, counting towards a 20-year plan. So actually paying for 13.5 years is a pretty good gig, even if you don't work for a nonprofit or government entity. So I wanted to bring that up. Again, there's no specific application. You just have to hold your servicer accountable to counting your payments. LoanSense will submit a payment count letter to your servicer to have them update you on what number of payments have you made thus far. That's really important because no one is going to track that as closely as you will. If it were up to the servicers, they would have you pay forever because that's how they get paid. They get paid when you continue to pay. Do not believe your servicer is your ally. It is important that you know, I have X amount of payments counted. Let's say you are halfway through and you only have 120 payments left. Well, you should put it in the calendar, in your Google Calendar, of when your last payment should be, so that you very much know when to hold your servicer accountable to forgiving the remainder that you have not paid. You have to certify your income to go this pathway annually, and that's what you do when you enroll into a plan based on your income. LoanSense can help with all of these, whether it's enrolling into a plan based on your income or certifying your employer in the case you are a public servant. We can help you with those things. We can also help you understand when is it best to enroll into the program or recalculate your income to reduce your payment. We can also help you if you're married, should you consider filing your income taxes separately so your spouse's income doesn't count towards your student loan payment. Because if you file jointly, the government will consider your spouse's earnings as available funds to pay your student loans. We do not want that. We can also help you understand and track how many more payments and how to best manage your student loans with the ultimate goal of reducing how much you give to the Department of Ed and optimizing and increasing how much you save for your future financial goals. We can't wait to be your friendly advisor, help you along this pathway and this journey. MyLoanSense.com to get a free, no obligation plan. And we are on standby to help you achieve student loan success. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below with questions as I roll out a series on questions and answers people may have. Have a great rest of your week.